what you gonna do? You got to make a decision for your family. Like, how, what you gonna do? I'm just like,
different.
It's
more weight.
different. It's so heavy. Because I'm like, this decision, everything is riding on this decision. Like, am I gonna do it right? So this book, and I hate that I always forget the name of it, but it is with this CEO, where his journey was basically in a different industry. Like you said, you started in life insurance. It was in a completely different industry, but my God, his trajectory was the very same as mine.
Wow.
And it just talked about like him taking that leap, like that jump, and he's like a person that people see like who are at Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies. Like I'm gonna have to find the title of the book, but when I read it, I was like, I did not even know who sent it to me. It just came to my doorstep when I was at that crossroads of what should I do. And it basically was telling me to jump. Right there. So, and really that was the deciding factor. When I got that book, I was just like, okay, I put in I didn't even put in a leave of, like, I didn't put in a leave. I resigned.
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by Motivated Apparel. Motivated Apparel, the premier gear for motivation. A brand that motivates, inspires, and empowers you to stay motivated while chasing your dreams. Head on over to www.shiftmotivations.com/shop Motivated Apparel and grab yourself some Motivated Apparel today.
Just like, I was still afraid to jump. And so I'm sitting there like, I ain't never had to, like, I've just always been employed. Like, I don't know what that life is like where you don't have a job and you got to try to fend for what, like, at this point, I got kids. I've created a life for us. Like, what the heck? Like, why am I in this situation? And so a book arrived at my door. Like, I was praying. I was playing Order My Steps every day. Like, God, you gotta show me, because I don't know what to do. Like, I thought I was about that life, but when it comes to you having to, what you gonna do? You gotta make a decision for your family. Like, how, what you gonna do? I'm just like,
it's different. It's more weight.
Different. It's so heavy, because I'm like, this decision, everything is riding on this decision. Like, am I gonna do it right? So this book, and I hate that I always forget the name of it, but it is with this CEO, where his journey was basically in a different industry. Like you said, you started in life insurance. It was in a completely different industry, but my God, his trajectory was the very same as mine.
Wow.
And it just talked about like him taking that leap, like that jump, and he's like a person that people see like who are at Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies. Like, I'm going to have to find the title of the book. But when I read it, I was like, I did not even know who sent it to me. It just came to my doorstep when I was at that crossroads of what should I do. And it basically was telling me to jump.
Right now.
So, and really, that was the deciding factor. When I got that book, I was just like, okay, I put in I didn't even put in a leave of, like, I didn't even put in a leave. I resigned from the Polk County Public School System. Like, it wasn't like I can come back when I want. No, I resigned. Like, I didn't even put in a leave. And most people put in a leave because they want that cushion where I can come back.
If they
like,
need to.
I severed ties. I was just like, deuces.
I'm done with you.
Like, I'm done. I'm about to make my own way, my own path. I got in this position and was paid to do something I was doing for free. I was the enrichment coordinator there. Guess what I had to do? I had to show up at noon. A job that I get to start at noon, and I leave at 6, and I'm getting paid more than I was getting paid as an assistant principal.
That's great.
More than what I was getting paid for.
Super.
Benefits, all of that. Bennett it's your position. You make it what you. I'm like, what? So I'm like, I'm just like, I am in new, like, and it's so crazy. Like, what is that? PTSD?
Yeah.
I felt like I had that. Like, I know how people like self-diagnose, but literally I did. Every time, like, my boss would call me into the office, like the head of schools, I'm like, oh God, like, what is it now? And it would be a positive thing. It would be how happy we are to have you here. Like, Jazz, you're just doing. It literally took me a year and a half to get used to someone saying what a great job I was doing, and for them to be ahead of me and not think I was trying to take their job. Like Vincent Miller, I don't know if you know him, but Vincent Miller was the assistant head of schools at that time. And so not only was I able to feel at ease, I was somewhere where I knew somebody, and I told myself after that Polk County experience that I would choose who I'm gonna lead with. It was gonna be my choice. Like I just always said that no, I'm not coming because it's not my choice. I'm going where I can lead with someone comfortably, because I was in hell. Like I really was. Like I would be crying to the lunchroom like, God, just. He heard me, I guess. Wow. I would just be like, God, remove me from here. And he did.
Wow.
He sure did. And he hit me in the process. Like I will never forget. I was walking through the hallways. I was like, this is just too hard. Like why I'm trying. I give so much for these kids. And it's like these adults, them and their feelings and them and what are you feeling intimidated by? I don't want your job. Right. Like I don't want your job. Right. But every site I was at, I came against that. And I just didn't understand it. At first I thought it was him telling me, this ain't for you. This ain't what I want you to do. So I'm going to make you so uncomfortable that you're going to want to leave. That's what I thought the message was. But it was just like I'm trying to direct you somewhere where you get to create your own path. This is my 3rd year at Academy Prep Center of Lakeland. And I created this position. I'm the director of programming, all programming at my school. I'm the community liaison. So I go out and I seek partners who are going to provide enriching opportunities for our school. We have enrichments from 3:30 to 4:45, and from bowling. I'm sorry, not bowling, but from boxing to TV productions to we have a gentleman's course that comes in. Like it's like when I go out and I meet people, I sit back and I observe, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you would be a good enrichment partner or whatever. And they come in, they give back to our school because our mission is so similar to what All for One's mission was. Wow. So I'm like, I can't even explain this. Like, I can't even make this up. Wow. They literally created this position, and then I got the autonomy to create what I wanted. I ain't never negotiated no salary before. Did that now. Check. So it's just like, wow. Thank you, God. Like, I don't feel like any of that madness that I was going through. And I think it's so unfortunate because there's so many stories like that. I never thought in a million years, never thought that I would be a person who would tell a story like that, because I heard it and I saw it at my son's school. Like I saw where the principal, like the AP who looks like me, just was treated horribly and would be moved. And when you go to the meetings, you would hear like the little rumors and you would hear like and I'm like, oh my God, like they did that to her, and they're like, girl, you like they tell you better don't say nothing, just go there and do your job, just go there and do. And I'm like, this is what we've been we resorted to just that. Like this is like a passion work. Like and we got to just go there and do our job. Like when you at administrative meetings or whatever, you can't even sit with people that look like you because they looking at you. Like you don't do that because you. What? Like what time are we in right now? Like it didn't feel fun for me anymore. It was disheartening for me because I was so passionate about education, about moving these kids, and about leadership and servant leadership. Like I wanted to serve the teachers that were on my staff. You had so many teachers that were afraid of the principals there. It felt like they couldn't say anything, they couldn't do anything. And then it's just I was a voice that did say something, and that blackballed me. To be quite honest with you,
I was going to ask you that.
It did. It blackballed me because after going through that for 3 years, after that 3rd year, I asked to move. I was like, I'm leaving. Like, because this is what is happening. And for me, I feel like that this is happening because you have to have a track record of what this principal is doing. And you're not doing anything about it, you know? And it's like, it took me, I could not even focus on my principal. I couldn't even focus on being endorsed as a principal, although I am endorsed as a principal. Going through that leadership process, because that's when she was like, I feel like you're trying to take, because I was going through the principal internship under her, and she's like, oh, they got her in that, or they're just going to try to boot me out like when she's done. Like that's what she thought. And I couldn't even focus on that. When people from the district would come in to check on me to see how's it doing, like how's the work that you're supposed to be, implementing in your, I couldn't even talk to them people about that. I would just be like, is this supposed to be happening because she did that? Like I was a rat. I ain't, but I
I'm snitching on you cause you got to go.
But it was bothering me like that so much. That's all I could talk about. Like that's the only thing that I could talk about, because I was just screaming for help. Like on the ride to USF, going to the cohort, that's all I found myself talking to my friends about. Like, can y'all believe, like, she da-da-da-da-da? Like, and that's all I was talking about. And I'm like, this is so, it consumed me. It really consumed me, because I felt like, how do you not see this? Why are y'all not doing anything? I told who I needed to tell. I told every single one of the people that I needed to tell, and they would not move. Now, 2 years later, she gets the boot.
Wow.
For the very same thing that I told them that she was doing. They finally listened to somebody. It took a teacher who was under her to blow the whistle, and it took something happening with a student for them to listen. And when they did that, they said everybody, all staff members in a room, and asked them, and everybody said the same story that I had been telling them. And I knew this because I had somebody that still worked there that I still communicated with. They was like, they asked us, Bennett, and we told them everything. And in some regard, I felt vindicated, but I also still felt hurt, because you wouldn't listen when I was trying to tell you. And I know you knew. You let this whole like, you would prefer to move a good administrator away from her versus deal with it. With her, I was just like, I don't know. I couldn't. And so it just feels so empowering. Like when I think about my comeback, that was it. And from that point on, because that's when in that situation, like I said, I always looked for the underdog. I was always somebody who always looked out for the underdog, even my students. Like the lowest 25% of the school, those was my babies. Like, I want to see learning gains. Like, let's go, like, let's get it, or whatever. And I called them my comeback kids. I even called my son my comeback kid. Like, he is my comeback kid because he goes like this. And I'm like, all right, let's get this comeback. Let's go. And so my father passed away in 2020. And what that experience taught me, because I was such a daddy's girl, like that experience, it just hit me. And it was just like, your dad saved up all this money to put you to school. Like, job well done in education. Like, you got that. I even had a coworker, because I was hosting events while I was a teacher and all that. She was just like, well, maybe you should pray it away. Maybe you should pray that God just focus you on education. And when she said that, it was like a dagger in my heart. I'm like, I can't pray this away. Like, because I was telling her, like, when anybody ever asked me, like, well, what are you going to do? And like, I would have the higher ups, well, are you going to host or are you going to educate? And it was almost like, that was like, I was like, I'm going to do it all. Like, I'm going to do it all. And so that's why when you look at my bio or anything, I say I'm a mother, I'm an educational leader, and I'm a host. I never, ever separate those things anymore. Because that's who I am. That's who I'm always going to be. So when he passed away, it just hit me. It was just like, your dad, like, literally died for you to make something of yourself. Like, he wanted you to dream and go after your dreams. Like, that's really all he was trying to teach you to do. And it just, that pickle jar that he had in his room, I will never forget. He sent me to Dallas to an NABJ conference, met Stuart Scott, met all of these people. And I was just like, I sat there and I was just like, what you doing? Like, you always wanted your radio show. So make it happen. Like podcast is like the new wave of things. It is the new radio. Like you literally can become syndicated. You literally can start your own show. Like nobody is over you. Nobody, you know, you don't have to worry about being an affiliate. You don't have to worry about. So I was just like,
overhead.
I'm gonna do it. So full circle moment. He passed away in 2020, and I just went into this like this journey of self-discovery. Like I stopped being afraid. I had already jumped from Polk County Public Schools, so I knew I could do it. I already done proved to myself that I could jump and make it happen for myself. So what's next? What's next is I want my own radio show. I want my own podcast. So I was like, let's go. So that's when we were coming out of COVID or whatever. That was FAMU's first time back having homecoming. I made it my mission to go to homecoming. And when I went to homecoming, it was not to party. I went to homecoming as a exodus, like as a homecoming. Really, it was a homecoming for me. Like I went back. It was a homecoming for me. Like I literally, like my friends were concerned about partying, whatever. I literally went there with, I need something that's going to inspire me again. I went to that radio station. I sat in a new revamped station. I met, you know, some of the new professors. I just looked at that campus. I was just like, these kids are at the foundation point where they believe they can do anything, where they really have that umph in them, where you can't tell them, no, you can't, because we are on the highest of 7 hills. And when the dark clouds form, just like all of that stuff, it sounds like cliche, but I felt like I was empowered. Like going to that eternal flame, it was just like, girl, like how did you let any limitations even form when you were here, when you were on this rich soil? And I'm telling you, when I left, I did my first episode that very next weekend. I linked with a producer. It was someone that I knew from high school. He had a whole studio. He was trying to form a great podcast. I linked with him. When I say it was go mode, I didn't have like a whole repertoire of who I was gonna have as my host. I just started knocking them out. Like I didn't write anything. I was on go. I was like, are you with me or whatever? Like he produced it, and it was just magic. It just came together. Like I got it on that microphone and I just never stopped. I never stopped. When he let his studio go or whatever, that's cool. I'm still moving. People invited me into their businesses to do a live setup like this. Like he would still travel with me and we would do live podcasts. At their people would just be like, we're not gonna charge you anything. Like we want you to come. It was just, I'm telling you, it was just like, it was no hindrance at all. Like I was on go. Every time I needed something, somebody would just be like, no, we're not gonna charge you. Like I was like, let's go. Like it was just like, let's go. And it's like I heard like people would start their podcast and they would be like, I would ask them to come on or whatever. Like they would look at like what the views were. I don't have high views when I do my lives. But when people ask me about this podcast, my podcast is so impactful. Like you can't do analytics on it. Like I can do analytics on it if I'm looking at Buzzsprout and I'm looking at my analytics, which is great, and they're awesome. But mine is so impactful. Like people, like they're like, well, how did you do it? Like people who like do it mainstream podcasts. Like I separate mine because I feel like this was destiny.
Exactly.
And so destiny sometimes can't be explained. Like I do know why I'm getting this opportunity because I'm supposed to. But I can give you a roadmap, the traditional way of how you should do it, but you probably won't have the same success as fast as I would. And I'm not sounding cocky, but I'm just telling you, I'm on mission work right now. Like this is passion for me. So even people who have started after me, people who that I've inspired or whatever, it's like we running. They running and it's just like, but I'm not competing with you. Like I'm in my own lane. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and it's just like I literally sometimes don't even get called into the same rooms as people that I've helped, and I'm just like, but that's okay, because I'm still running my own race, and it's just like, yeah, you ain't invite me here, but guess who I see? I'm right in the same room with you, dog.
Radical.
I'm like, I got the same red carpet. I'm just like, how you doing? Like, yeah, like exactly. I'm like, hey,
how you got here?
Listen.
Man, you ain't got to worry about it.
Exactly.
You ain't got to worry about it.
I'm just like, like I don't talk about the raunchy stuff. I don't like. I've gone on podcasts like that, whatever, and it's like this is God work for me.
Yeah.
Because
same here.
I started realizing, like, when I used to say, like, I would just talk to people how you are letting me go right now, and it's just like I would listen to them, and they would talk about their comeback story, like from people who are not even into religion like that, like as far as being faithful to Him or whatever, but they will always put God in the mix. They will always say, and God, da 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 da. Then they'll get to something, and they would be like, I did this, and I did this, and I worked, and every person that has been on my podcast without me coercing them at all has given that formula for the comeback.
Wow.
And that every episode, I just wait for it. Like now, I just wait for it. I'll be sitting there like, say God, say God, say God. As soon as they say God, I'm like, I told you.
Let's go.
Right, and I'm just like, I just see that as me like high-fiving God, like, and then like I had my producer, he was like, at the time, because I don't work with anybody anymore. Like, and that's the thing. Yeah. I'm not even working with professional equipment anymore. Like we are I'm StreamYard right now. Like nobody is helping me. And so I'm like, for me to still be able to sustain, and I don't have a team. Yeah. Like I would love a team. Yeah. But God is just showing me that you literally can do this. Now that is not going to be a winning formula to get to the level that I want. And I know that, but He's sustaining me until that team is formed. I truly do believe that. I have no choice but to believe it, because He shows me every episode. Like how like somebody I was on a Polk County entrepreneurs chat. It's Polk County Hustlers.
You be everywhere.
It's Polk County Hustlers, right?
You be everywhere.
Polk County Hustlers. That sounds familiar.
So it's like 863 Hustlers or whatever. It's that group.
Yep.
And I really can't even remember what I put in there. I think I put I introduced my my next episode, like trying to get people to tune in. And there was a playwright. He was like, I would love to be on your podcast. And I was like, who is this? Like, it just was so random. I didn't even know who it was. And you guys probably know him, because I think he is from Polk County, but I don't know. He's from Miami, but I think he has dealings with Polk County. But I didn't know him. And I'm like, I started going to his page, being nosy and all that. And I'm just like, he reached out to me. That's interesting. And so this dude is legitly like a playwright, like out of DC, and he does plays like Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? Like he does church plays that they go on tour. So we ended up. I called him. Now he's a wildcat, but that's all right. He's from Miami, but his name is Akiva. His name is Akiva, and I can't think of his Akiva McLean. And so he's a playwright, and he has a play, Home for Christmas, that's gonna be debuting in Orlando like this weekend, right? Oh, wow. And so when he came on my podcast and he was telling me about his comeback story and all of that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude is legit. And then he started going down a list of who's going to be the actors in his play. Like the guy that played Professor Ogilvy in The Parkers is going to be one of the castmates. A guy that played in The Wire. I can't think of his name, but I'm like, this is a legit okay, guys, send them to me, please. And so it's just like when Whit introduced me to you, I was just like at that. So I was in my feelings, because I was like, man, I'm doing this podcast every weekend. I just want every Monday. I just want a Monday where I have 300 people looking live. Like, I'm tired of people telling me that they're looking, but I can't see them. That's another downfall to doing it live, because y'all doing it, you doing it because y'all are here, y'all can catch each other, y'all got the vibes. You don't have to worry about how many people are looking. Like, that's not what. So it's so hard when you can see it. Like when you see those numbers on that screen, like I try not to pay attention to it, but it is there.
When them numbers ain't like, you like now you fighting with your head trying to
exactly. So I'm like, okay, God, you're building up my mind for something, because but at that time it was just like, it was that. And it was like, I'm such a good person. Like, I'm a kind-hearted person. Because I try to reel that dad part of me out. Because like I was telling you, he just was a giver and didn't know how to say no. I'm so resourceful where I'm not running a race with you because I feel like God has me on my own trajectory. So if you get there before I do, kudos to you.
Right.
But I feel like I'm not a gatekeeper. Like if I know somebody that can propel you, that can help you, I always connect people. Like I call myself the connector. Like that's just who I am. But I will admit, like when I feel that people don't do that for me, like it hurts, like it stings, and I'm just like, dang, like I looked out for you. And I think you are intentionally not looking out for me because you think I'm gonna surpass you. I'm like, that's not cool.
Or they
you know what I'm
will
saying?
and they don't.
You know, like it's so I'm just like, well, what was it that you saw that you felt like you couldn't do that for me? And honestly, that's the only thing that I can think of is you think that I'm going to surpass you, but I'm the type of person where I'm going to pull you up with me.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I don't want to be there by myself.
Hey,
I'm
dog,
trying to get there.
That's how we are.
Right. Like, I'm trying to get there. Like, I'm trying to get it. Like, so we're all trying to get it. So, like, even, like, when situations, like, so that's where I was when I was just like, all right, I'm going to scratch whatever I was trying to do Monday. I need somebody. This was like, I think Thursday or Friday before the show was on Monday. And I was like, I need somebody inspirational. Like, bump what I was trying to do. Send me somebody because I feel like whoever God sends me is going to be the right person. Then this guy. This guy.
This guy.
This phenomenal speaker.
Motivator.
He gets pitched, and I reached out to him, and he was like, "Yeah," because I'm like, because you know when you first meeting people, you don't want to look unprofessional and be like I'll do that with people that I know, but I try not to have so many. I don't have repeat guests, but if I do that, I try to get somebody that I know or I know they know me, and it's like it's cool. But it's like I did not know you at all, and I was like, I hope he doesn't look at it like, is she professional? Like, is this legit? Like, what are we doing? And so I couldn't bring him into like a professional studio. We were live, and it's just like that was one of the best episodes I feel because it felt good.
Yeah,
like I was just
I had a
like,
good time.
this guy is like genuine. It's like the word that I can say. And I got a lot of great feedback from it because you dropped some gems, you dropped some nuggets. You gave me.
What's up with that T-shirt?
Listen, you gave me a slogan that I needed to put on my T-shirt. I was like,
I said, wait, I'm
bars. It is still going on the T-shirt. I'm telling you. He just said something, and I was like, I stopped talking. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, he just came up with it. Like, we were just in mid-conversation. He was like, yeah, you got a PhD in comebacks. And I was like, that's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. Don't y'all take my idea. It's a T-shirt. So like, I do thank you for that. And it's like, you know, since then, like I've been watching you guys, and I'm just like, that felt great. So it was just, I'm here, you know, and and I'm constantly going through my own set of comebacks, you know, and sometimes when I shared at my 3-year podcast anniversary live show, because I do a live show every year, like just to commemorate the year that I've had, the years that I've had in podcasting. So this was the 3rd one, and so thankfully, like the shows have been sold out. Like people just donate, like what do you need or whatever. Like this year, everything just gelled together. It felt so good. Like this one was just different from all the other ones, and so. When you get to that point, like this, I think this was the year that I did my 100th episode as well. I think I did that maybe like in February, January or February or something like that. And so that's why I'm like, it's your 100? It's your 100? Oh yeah, I'm there.
Full circle.
Like I'm there. Like I'm locked and loaded. Like I'm in. I'm gonna come shivering in the cold. So it's like, I'm like, I owe you that. Like that's you know, like. Kudos to the co-parenter out there. He has my son right now. It's like, I'll come and pick him up later. I appreciate you. Man, so like, it's just, it's a lot of comeback stories. So it's like, I tell my audience, like when people meet me, like I used to have a hard time like hearing compliments, like receiving them. I like them, like I do, but like if you do it like online, it feels so much comfortable because I don't see my facial expressions and I don't have to feel a certain way. I just can type, thank you. Like I truly appreciate that. Like, or my thing is thank you so much. Like you'll always see me just do it, but it's like hearing it, like when somebody sits by it, just it feels like
Yeah. It
like
makes
hearing
it
you like read it, I'm just like, ugh. It's still. But I promise myself, like, you know, you have to honor where God is taking you. You have to honor what God has brought you from. You have to learn how to accept that feedback, because that's the whole point. That's what He's creating in you. And so it's like I get so full when I hear people like, man, that resonated with me, or I literally, like, I gave away tickets to my show on one episode, and the day of the show, I was getting my makeup done. The day of the show, she inboxed me, and she was like, she called me, and I couldn't talk to her because I was getting my makeup done. And so she left this. Actually, I ended up calling her back. I don't know why I called her back, but I did. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think you were gonna call me." And I was like, "Well, cause I thought she was somebody else. I thought she was somebody that I knew. Turns out I don't know her. This girl is from New York."
Oh, wow.
She was planning to buy tickets, plane tickets, and she'd never been to Florida before. She was going to fly here just for my podcast anniversary live show. She was like, "I watch you," and she was like, "I love what you do." I was like, "Girl," I said, "Are you making this up right now?" And she was like, "No, like, I live in New York," and she was like, "But I don't have the money anymore to come." And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, when you start when you start feeling like your reach is not reaching, and you guys know what they say, you know, you never know who's watching you. Like, you just really never know. So like when you said, when you have the microphone, is a powerful thing. Like, you got to do what's right with that microphone. And what I'm doing, I feel good in this space, because sometimes it feels lonely. Like, I don't have a person to my left and a person to my right. Like, it's me. So if I mess up, it's me. If I don't get to a certain level, it's me, you know? And I'm like, I just thank God for being able to make the impact that I have, because it's so many people where I just feel like I'm just doing what's naturally, you know, human to do. Like, I want to have you come on my show and you tell people what you have gone through, because simply because you are showing people that they can come and make it as well. Right. Like, I want to inspire you to chase, like, man, Jazz, how you doing it? Like, you really chasing your dreams. Let me tell you something. I am, but please note that it's not easy, because you don't see me where I want to be right now. It's hard. Like, I don't want to give you any fake that it's easy. Right. What you need to know is that it's work. Like, the elevator is broke. All right, like, it's broke. All right.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
You gotta be able to put in some work. Like, and I just feel like people who get there fast, they lose it fast too. If they're not passionate about that work, if they're not consistent, like, it takes some discipline. So are you ready? Are you sure that you're ready to follow your dreams? You know what I mean? Like, entrepreneurship. That's why I love having entrepreneurs on. I love people just who are not afraid to jump, and they can just give those, like, this is what I went through. I had somebody, like I just shared with you guys, somebody that I just thought, because we see the silver lining of people. We don't see what they go through. Like, y'all could be going through hell right now, and I don't know, because y'all showing up for your podcast. You know what I mean? Because you on a mission. Because I am.
Many.
To be quite honest with you, because I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is like therapy. Literally.
We be having therapy sessions.
like, you know how you say that when you're doing your live and you feel, you look to your left and your right, you feel alone because there's nobody there. But when you get on your live and you have hundreds of thousands of people who's connecting with you, you know you're not alone.
Yeah.
I come from the house. They know I come from the house. That's why I call it when I just coming straight from. I just come off the
straight off the cuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, it be times to where I feel completely alone until I get here.
Yeah.
So, when you said that, that's crazy. Because sometimes I feel like I don't matter until I get here. When you said that, it's hard to take, what we call when people say you did a good job?
Compliments.
When my manager, supervisor try to compliment me, I be wanting to tell her so bad, I don't believe you.
Right. Why? Expound.
Right. I don't believe nothing. The other day, because I work in the main OR, the director of the OR walked past me and said, Cedric, how you doing? I had to filter every answer. Let me choose this one, good. Cause you don't want the real answer.
Right.
You ain't ready for that raw.
Let me give you corporately what you're looking for.
Right.
Let me give you
Give it a corporate answer.
Right. That's how you know you walking with the Lord when you did not nothing. When you ain't letting anything come out of your mouth.
Yes.
Oh,
Can't go off the fly handle.
Right. So my man's asked me, "Did you eat lunch yet?" Oh my! I just the speed of my feet just picked up fast. I didn't even answer. Why are you asking me that? You don't care when I eat lunch, how I eat lunch. You don't care. But you people are crazy, but
My dog checked out.
these people are crazy. But
He peeked through the blinds.
I didn't even answer that one. But yeah. So when you said that, I said that's crazy.
Yeah.
About how you talking about your story and you coming back, and I'm like you. I be soaking up everything. That's why like everything is. You got so much heat to where I'm just soaking. I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
That your story is electrifying. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
Oh wow.
yeah. So,
And and I'm sitting next to somebody, because I feel like everything is purposeful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be. And I was on somebody's podcast, and they were because I don't give the full comeback story because in my brain, like I'm trying to formulate. In me, I feel
Everybody
like I need
can't handle everything yet.
They can't.
At certain.
Yeah.
at once, and then I feel like there's a greater purpose for it. Like I was telling her, because she tried to keep getting it out of me on their podcast, and I was like, I won't share it because it's not crafted the way that I want it to be presented to the masses yet. Like I feel like it's a book inside of me. I feel like being a speaker.
Come on,
nudge.
Come on, girl.
I feel like it's a speaker
I don't know if you know,
in me.
but I was gonna pull that out before we got up out of here.
I feel like I literally feel like that's my next step is motivational speaking.
Yeah.
Just inspirational speaking through like what you've been through. You know, like just that speaker that can take you there through a story. Like this is what it is. And so I feel like it's being crafted. Yeah. You know, there's a reason that I had to go through all of that because like I said, I feel like it's just gonna all come together and be like, see, that's why.
Yeah.
I know my play.
I got a question behind you.
No, go ahead, Doug.
Go ahead.
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by No Grind, No Glory Apparel, R8 28 edition. It's a reminder to stay strong, to be courageous, to stop your fears, and to feed your faith. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, just know that you were born to stand out and make an impact. Head over exclusively to www.nogrindnoglory.net and grab you some merch as a daily reminder that all things work together.
So one thing that kicked out to me that popped out was when you went to film, you did the journalism thing, you did the DJ thing, and then you was writing, right?
Yep.
So when you got in front of those children have peculiar minds and really teeny tiny short attention spans.
Yeah.
So you have to grasp them really quick. It's a portion of scripture. Correct me if I'm wrong. Be slick as a serpent, harmless as a dove, right?
Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Yeah.
That's what you have to do to gain the attention of people. So when you learn how to create scripts, and when you learn how to host, you speaking, grabbing attention, that's everything you needed to have in order for you to be in the position that you're in right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's funny that you said that because even when I used to get in front of my students, I treated it as it was a hosting.
For sure.
Event.
Yeah.
Like I really did.
All day.
I really did. Like
all day.
And I think that's why I was so successful in
Yeah.
grabbing even that lowest of the low students because they were like, she's not like every other teacher. Like she's fun. Like and I just that's how I taught. Like I taught with enthusiasm. Like I taught taught with passion. Like this is what we're doing. And they just I just clicked with them, you know. And so it's funny that you said that because I promise you, I was like, I can't wait to address the class today. Like, and they listen. It's like I'm in charge, and they listen, and that's responsibility.
Yes.
Because you can break a child that way too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful with your words, how you say them, you know, what you say. And so that's what it taught me.
Yeah.
You know, like I literally just today, I apologized to our whole student body because I felt like my reaction to someone, like a student that I had yesterday, and it lived with me all last night. Like I even went to our head of schools and I was like, yo, listen, I told the situation because this is a challenged student. And she just will pop off like she's, oh my gosh, but I see hurt behind that. Like, and I even after that incident happened, I pulled her into my office because I was like, this is not my rapport with students. But when I say she had me on level 10,
I believe it.
I was on level 10.
That's a whole different kind of
I
discipline.
was like,
I understand that.
and so I had to pull her in because I saw hurt. And so I as soon as I pulled her in and I just started talking to her, although she was defensive, she couldn't hold back her tears. She just was, and I listened. And like I heard her perspective and what I ended on my message, not without sharing everything that she said to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I apologized to the kids for seeing me like get out of character, and I said, you know what lesson I learned from that? I said, have you ever like wanted to right your wrong with someone? Like you knew something was you were wrong.
Wow.
You know, you were wrong. And I said, I cannot be someone standing in front of you if I as an adult cannot admit a wrong. And I said, now you saw her be disrespectful to me. Yes, you did. But you also saw me get on 10 with her. And that's, as an adult, that's what we shouldn't do.
That's not cool.
And I just said, so I'm apologizing to you guys. And I said, and I heard her. I listened to her. Let me tell you what she said. She gave me her perspective of something, and she told me how I made her feel. And initially, I was like, I didn't do that. Like, that's not what I did. And then I said,
She got triggered.
Yeah.
but this is what I said. I said, I can't tell you how to feel.
Right.
I have no right to tell you how to
I've had
feel.
come to myself with that a couple
I
times.
literally have no right to tell you how to feel. Like, that's how you felt in that moment. And you're going to continue to feel that way. I will never change the way I made you feel at that moment. But I can change the way you feel moving forward. And so I said, I honored her in that way because she had to honor me in that way, because I also was able to express how I felt, how my perspective, how she made me feel in the moment. And I had that dialogue with her because it was so important for me to understand, for her to understand, you know, as an adult, we have to look at different perspectives. And so we just had like this, and that's the type of teacher that I was. Like, that's the type of educator that I am. Like, if I'm wrong, because a child is not going to learn from somebody that they feel don't like them.
Because
They just will not.
most great communicators are also great teachers.
Yeah.
Communication is not me standing in front of you and just blah, 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 blah. No, it's a highway of interaction going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
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 Whole bunch of lows and dips and curves.
Right.
You
Right.
have to really understand what's going on from that perspective so you can know how to iterate and receive and give back.
Yeah.
Not for you to be heard,
Right.
but for you to penetrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most communicators are really good teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to give you a fist bump for that.
For sure.
Because we cut from the same
It was
cloth.
hard.
Yeah, because
But I was like,
I do a lot of mentoring, especially with like young men, because I'm around sports a lot. And so they got me on 10,
Yeah.
and then I've had to pull and calm down and go back and apologize, because in my mind also I'm like 9 times out of 10 the dad ain't in their life.
Right.
And then it's like we're portrayed, especially as African American males, we're portrayed a certain way.
Right.
And so it's like I have to be intentional about this, because we'll cuss them out, we'll say this to them, and then won't never apologize for it. So this is how a real man's supposed to act. And then so I would go
Right.
back
Right.
and I say, hey man, my bad, I wasn't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you an incident. We just had one right at the end of the football season. We had a couple of JV kids come in the locker room, because I'm the team chaplain at one of the high schools, right? So and they challenged.
As they normally do.
and one is real challenge, you know, and which he's no longer. I just found out last week. Coach told me he kicked him off the team because he just don't want to listen to nobody. Yeah. And so now with the JV player, I treat them both the same. So when we get stuff sponsored for the JV, if varsity want to come in, they'll grab in their hands. Now y'all get up out of here. Exactly. So and vice versa, I do the same thing. So we end up taking care of the varsity. These guys come in. I'm like, where y'all come from?
Right.
And then we hadn't already got onto them earlier, so I had them went to 10, and I can tell it pierced one of them. Yeah. I said I'm gonna have to have a conversation with him, and now he's on the basketball team. So I stopped there for practice one day just to check on him, see how they're doing, right? Yeah. So he calls me over. They call me Preach on campus. They nickname me. That's my name.
Preach.
They call me Preach.
I like it.
I said, I like that. I fit.
Right.
You know, I said that fit. So he calls me over. And then that engaged the conversation. He said, listen, he said, Preach, my bad, man. I apologize for taking that stuff yesterday. And I say, see, now you get it. And then I had to go in and explain, you know what I'm saying? Because you look at these kids, we shape them. Yeah. You know, we shape them. We have the ability to shape their tomorrow, and it's very important how we handle that. Absolutely. So I had to give you a pound on that one. I was like, we cut from the same cloth.
Man, listen.
Listen. I got a question.
Yes,
sir. So, you know, we go through a lot. We go through a lot of adversity that prepares us for things we don't even realize is preparing us for. Yeah. And shaping us in ways that we never thought we'd be shaped. So what strength did you gain from all that adversity you went through with the school system versus what you wouldn't have gained and would have gotten versus if you would have took that job?
Listen, it's funny. It is so funny that you asked that because do you know how like when people say I don't understand why this is happening to me, like why me, God, da da da, and I'm like, and that's how I took it. That's why it hurt me so much because I was like, I literally, this is my life. Like so much that my mom and my family is like, you give so much to those kids. Like make time for your kids. I remember missing my son's birthday party to go and support 2 teachers for Teacher of the Year because the principal said she wasn't going. Wow. And that's going to be a story in the book. Yeah. Wow. And so, like, it wasn't it was just the party that we had during the week that was on his actual birthday. Like, they went out to dinner, but his party was going to be that Saturday. Right. But, like, I don't miss anything with my kids, and I miss that. And I was like, so I'm like, I am so dedicated. Like, I'm you know, so I didn't understand it. And so that's why it weighed so heavy on me. And so, like the strength with that is like I learned like all of these little lessons. Like I would hear, like even if it was like a sideways comment that wasn't true, I learned in that process of how to maneuver. I learned how to corporately, how to it's not a finesse at all. It's just a way to maneuver. So like when that comes at you, I can see it a mile away. Right. So like even in this in my current position, here's another story.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Stupid.
So in my current position, I started like when I started making like leeway into what I'm doing and started getting like our school recognized for different things, like I did see it. I started to see it forming a mile away because people like I don't answer to anybody except for the direct boss, right? So it's like you have other departments where they work under people or whatever, and it's like my department I'm the department, like it was created, right? So it's like people like certain people would try to just like man what I was doing, or they would try to put these little sifters into my boss's trajectory or whatever, and I'm like, we are having unnecessary conversations about something that is not, you know, and so like it would like raise questions like, well, did you think about? No, I didn't think about that because that's not what I want. Like that's what that other person wants, and they're not in control of my programming. And so like I could see it a mile away, and so like what that taught me, like when I would get like those daggers from there, it just like I didn't necessarily know how to maneuver, but it's like now, I'm gonna hit you with some HR lingo. I'm gonna hit you with some. That's because that's what we doing. Like that, I'm for the I'm gonna need for you to make sure that you understand that don't you cross this line, cause I ain't sued nobody yet, and I still got some fire in me. I'm waiting for somebody to.
Won't be the first.
I wish something would. So like when I started seeing it's not happened like a lot, but when I would see that, and surprisingly, not even surprisingly, but those people are no longer with us anymore. So that's why I'm like, see, God don't play about me, and it's not it's not like it was about me, because it really is not about me. But what I'm saying is, like, that strength, it just is, it makes me feel like a warrior. I can overcome any situation, because for me, whereas you probably are like, oh, somebody's always trying to come up against me, like at my job, like I'm used to it. I was not. Like, that was so out of order for me. Like, it was a piercing hurt. Like, I didn't know what that was about. Like, that just, like, I was being characterized as something that is completely different of my character. And I didn't know how to deal with that, because I've never had to deal with that before. So now I do. Now I'm better positioned to be able to handle that. And listen, I just have the tools to do it, and then I have the work ethic to back it up. Like, literally, what are you saying? Because now I'm like a human analytical board. It's just like, I already was prepared for this, and so this is how I'm making effects in this area, and this is what I've done. Like, I'm ready. Like, I just stay locked and loaded. Like, I'm just ready.
It just shows you the importance of choosing purpose versus what seems like could be. When you look at the job, you could be famous, you could be on TV every day, but literally, what will you be equipped with?
And that's very true. And like when I say like how God, like, he'll stop you, like you don't really want that or whatever. Being a principal, and this is what I will say, like when you are in the school system, when you run anything, when anything is just on you, like that is hard. Entrepreneurs will tell you that when they own their own business. Like when you are the principal, though, for the amount of money that principals get paid,
that's a lot of work.
And you compare that to like people who run Fortune 500 companies. Like, you got people in the medical field right now, which is, I'm just using that because it's all in the news. You got people who are millionaires, and they're taking on the same stressors that a principal does. Like, I came to the conclusion, I don't want your job. I don't want your job.
You can have it.
Like, I found something. Like, I found something where I can make what I want to make, and I don't want your job, because you got to deal with just unnecessary things from facilities to the image of the school to parents to you. It is. Don't ever knock. And that's what I didn't understand. Is because I have so much regard for principals, because I already know what it takes. So why would you think that I would try to sidetrack this principal? You know what I mean? Like, I already know, like, his workload, it's not a his. I never dealt with that with a guy. But, like, her workload is heavy. It's just like you're either going to be a substantial leader or you are not. And I dealt with ones that were not, and I don't have any cork about saying that. It's just what it is. That just was the truth. I did not have great leaders, a great leader. But it's like these principals that are able to turn these F schools to A schools, like who can deal with parents and who can deal with like all of these things. Like they have to deal with HR, payroll. It is a job. Yeah. So that's why I always tell people, although I'm not with Polk County Public Schools, I am still an advocate for them. I still have a child that's with Polk County Public Schools. Why would I not? I still have a love for it. And so I always said, like, am I gonna come back? Like, what money we talking about, and what do I get to choose to do?
Right.
Like when I don't want to be a principal because I want to own it.
Right.
No, dangle me I'm gonna give you your own school, like outright. This is your school. Right. Now, if we talking about charter or something like that, then you could then. So I say that boldly. I am not doing that until it is mine. Until it can say Bennett's da. That's when I want the brunt of that work that I would have to do. It's gonna be for myself. Like, just point blank, period.
Right. Yeah. That is because I've always, like, principals that I befriended over the years, and I can say, because I'm doing a lot of mentoring with, especially with sports, and you be like, they be, they can have 2 or 3 events in that whole night. They going from one spot of the campus to the other side. I'm like, well, how do y'all do this, man?
Yeah.
They do it.
And then have to be right back there early that morning. You there all day long. First one there, probably last one to leave.
Absolutely.
And this is every day.
Every day.
Yeah, it's like, man, I do not envy you.
That's what I'm saying. I want your job.
I don't.
No, I don't.
Hey, you want my position?
No. Right. You want some of this, old man? No.
Oh my God. That is like my favorite line from that movie. I love
Come on, man. Talking about you won't be a president. You need to get on up from here. You know you can't handle the weight.
He's stupid.
Oh my God.
He's
Silly.
stupid. Stupid.
My grandmama gave me that job.
He's stupid.
Oh my God.
He's stupid, man.
We like that fun, man.
Favorite line.
I love it. That is funny.
Oh my God.
He said my grandmama gave me that job. Stupid.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious, man.
Oh man, well, listen, man. This has been live. This we definitely want to respect your time and we pre-record everything once again. Blueprint Nation, y'all know, man. And so once we get everything to edit and stuff, so we'll probably chop this up into probably 2 episodes. So I'm just going off the top of my head without actually looking at the numbers. So But yeah, I know we had talked about the one. Did you want to kind of get that in before we get up out of here?
I just want to say, I'll just say briefly. You asked me if I knew Ray, and so Ray is a part of 2 different fatherhood initiatives. We have Dad Mode, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but they do it with an organization, you know, and they actually have courses where they teach fathers how to be great fathers. Like they have coursework. Then like when fathers go through the program, they can sometimes be the mentors, right? And so I talked about my father a lot in this segment, you know, and I just am a daddy's girl to my core. And so I know the importance of a father. And so, you know, we were chopping it up and I was just saying, you know, like the father for me has the biggest impact on a family unit. You know, you guys have a lot of weight. And so as a mother raising 2 sons, and I'm trying to raise them into, you know, manhood, I realize as a woman, it is just some things that are not going to hit with me when I say it. Whereas if their dad says it, it's going to be like Mufasa roaring in the jungle. I'm sounding like a hyena.
Say it again.
Right. I'm sounding like a hyena when I say it. But when he says it, it's of authority.
Right.
And it's like, I recognize that. Like, even with the smallest, minute thing that he does, they see it as so big. And I'm like, this is so unfair. But it is so instrumental. And I give him that. And I try to tell him, like, look, like, use your power with them. Like, at first, I used to say it's not about the money. Like, it's about the time that you spend with them. Like, just spend time with them. But, baby, we need that money, too.
Right. It's a 2-way street.
We need some moolah, too. Like, we,
That's a 2-way street.
Like, you know, we got the yin and the yang, you know. But like, I've always been the person that was more adamant about just spend time with them, because I know how critical it is, you know. And so I love when I'm able to get a great father onto my podcast, because I'll just lead him in there, like, talk to me about fatherhood, like what's important to you, you know, with that. And so I just really want to leave, you know. One thing when I had the guys on my podcast, when they talked about, you know, their initiative, it's never too late for you to step in and be a father to your children. Like, you can always, I feel like you find a way to rectify whatever you need to rectify in that situation, because, you know, I see it as being so instrumental, so critical, so vital when you're raising men. You know, when you're raising girls who are going to choose a man based off of her relationship with her father, that's cyclical. You know, like, that's generational.
Right.
Like, and just know, all people don't see fathers as you are a check. You know, like, just go to work. Like, that's not it. You know, like, fathers have critical roles all across the the bear, the the rearing of the child,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you guys are important, and I it's nothing that brings me like joy like seeing an active father. It's just something about it, and it could just be because I no longer have my father here, but I always felt that way. I always felt like, hey, I need a good father for my children. Like this just has to work. So whatever situation you're in, whether you're co-parenting, whether you're trying to get back in the child's life, like even with their dad now, when I was with him, we didn't have kids together. I didn't even want kids. Surprisingly, like I didn't even want kids. Like, and neither one of them were planned at all. And so like when I was with him, he had 2 kids that I learned about, later. But he was actively taking care of them, and like he would ask me like if the mother needed something, what did I think? And I'm just like, it's a no-brainer with me. Do it.
Right.
Like literally do it. She needs her car fixed. Do it.
You understood? The
Because
assignment.
and I didn't come from just a single parent home. It's like I came from my dad making it work, making sure we had what we needed. So that's not a question. Like, I guess I didn't understand it. Like, you're in a relationship with me, but those kids are yours. Like, we don't share any blood. Like, we're not even married right now, and I respect that you're asking me that, but that's a no-brainer. Like, do it. She has her kids 90% of the time. Do it. You know? So I just work together. Just I guess I would just say, just understand the power that each entity holds, or each person holds, and just be respectful of that, be mindful of that. And we were talking like, keep the main thing, and the main thing are the kids. Like, are the kids. Like, because even though, and I know I presented myself in such a great way on this podcast, I get it. I have my shortcomings too, like where I have to like come and just be like, take your emotions out of it and see how it's affecting them. Like, even though I know that some things should be done differently, they don't have that lens. They only have a certain lens, and it's your job to protect that, you know? So even if you have to make this man look better than what he looks like, do it. Because they need that. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your feelings aside and just ride with it. And that's one of the toughest things that as a mother, because if I see you balling all on Facebook, if I see diamonds and I'm seeing all this other stuff, and I ask you for something outside of what you've been given when you're not on child support, baby, give me that money.
Right.
You know, and I'm not even a person that's about money. And honestly, ladies, learn this too, because I know I talk good about the fathers, but I was so adamant at showing this man I can make it without you that he started letting me do it. And that's not a position that you want to put yourself in. Wow. You know, and I had to work myself back up to say, oh, well, no, I don't want to do it no more. You know, like, no, I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to really deal with you on that front. Like, I got it. And I just, that overworked me. Like, yeah, we can do it, but we shouldn't have to. And I run into so many instances where I'm having conversations with women, and it's so many women that have that mentality. Yep. We shouldn't have that mentality. That's where I need men to step in and say, yeah, you can do it, but you don't have to because I'm here. Yeah. Right. It shouldn't be a prideful thing. You should be a man and just be like, I know you are doing so much for these kids. At least check in and say, hey, do y'all need something? Especially if you are not on child support. Man, baby, if I switch roles with a man and you don't put me on child support, hey, you need something? Y'all good over there? Like, what can I do? Like, I mean, you're not even, you know, I can tell that you're not about that. So I'm all about having a solid foundation for these kids, and just because I see what happens when they don't. In the school system, I see where you are begging for a father. Like, you need a father, you know? So that's like my soapbox. Like, I'm just all about just having dope fathers. Like, we need y'all, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you shed a light on that, because I see it every week.
Yeah.
I see that, because I remember, like, when I first got started, and you can tell, because you know, and what got me was we lost one of my best friends, which would be my pastor's first son in the ministry at a young age, mid-30s, early 30s, think he was, 33, 34 maybe. And lost him to cancer. We didn't even know he had it. He told us at the last, he was stage 4 before we even knew. So, and so and my grew up with my pastor. So long story short, how I ended up under him. But he started it. He would be like, man, life's too short. And so anytime we're talking, we like, bro, I love you, man. Hey, I love you, man. So I started doing that. God showed me something one night. I had a youth conference, and it was pastor friend of mine. She brought her youth, and one of them was her nephew. So he brought him and 2 of his friends had came up. I was doing altar call, and God said, just hug him. Don't do nothing. And I'm like, okay. So I hugged him, and I felt something break. And from that moment on, I see the power that produced, because that has been a pillar of mine when I've built these relationships with these young men. To so much so to the fact that when they first meet them, they're standoffish. To the point where now when I get on campus, they can't even, I can't even get in. They preach, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you shed a light on that, because Father is very important. And one role is not better than the other. Both are necessary, and both, like she said, you have to know your assignment and your role in a position. And so many of us are out of position, which is why families are out of position.
Out of position. Like, that's a podcast. Y'all do that. It's out of position.
Man,
I'm telling you.
Listen.
I'm telling you. I feel like, and I don't know, y'all seem to do it, which is it's so great to be around your energy, because I see and I hear how you guys support one another. You know how you say this is therapy for you, when you say you don't feel alone until you get here. And to me, that's so powerful. And there's so many men that run in circles that they don't have that. They don't have that camaraderie. They don't have that support system. And it's nothing wrong with men having that support system. Like, I love a man who's trying to grow. Like, I love to hear that on a man. Like it's played out. Like the tough. The tough guy.
I'm so tired of it.
It's so played out to me. Like, and I'm single, right? Y'all good. I'm just like, it is some definite pee in this water. In this little dating pool, y'all stop. Like, I'm just like, it's so much brokenness. It's so much, and it's like, you would think it would be better at like an older age. It's not. It's so many traumas that have gone, unhealed. And it's ridiculous, because you bleed on the opposite sex. Like, you take all of that and you put it off on the other person, and it's like, this is not it. Like, this is not it. So man, heal, be great parents, like all of that good stuff. It's we too old to not do that. Like you said, life is too short. Tell the person that you love them. Like, get over what it is that you need to get over. Like, it's too many resources out there to just be stagnant. Like, we in the technology world, it's somebody out there for you.
And you actually hit on something I always told my daughters. I say, I'm not one to be worried about money and what you can do. I say, my thing is, you need to be with a man with a vision. As long as he got vision, I say, your dad is straight. If he ain't got no vision, I say, because your daddy has been down in the dumps, but I never lost my vision.
Absolutely.
I might have been hurt. I might have been crying. I might have been bawling my eyes out because the way life has turned out in certain positions. I say, but daddy never lost his vision, so I would never put that on anybody y'all date, because I got 2 girls. And I say, as long as he got vision, I'm straight. And they knew. I say, but y'all better not bring no joke up here with his pants hanging off his butt. Y'all know y'all know what time it is. And they knew I was serious too, cause what?
Hey Chad, come here. Let me talk to you for
what? Then I had one of my crazy buddies too, but we'll pull the Martin scene off real quick.
Right. Look, he already about to get a character.
He lying.
Hey, Mike, you need me to pull through?
Pull up. Don't play.
Right.
Don't play by them.
Exactly.
Hey.
I had one of them experiences. Like what you talking about your father. And I know y'all mom and y'all dad, so. And when I went to go Cause they know my fiance. We family, right? So I went to her. One day I got off work early. I said, today I'm leaving work at 2:30. My supervisor was tripping. I left at 1.
Moral of the story.
I ain't tell y'all that part. I ain't tell y'all that part.
You eat that part, bro. He showed it. He know you.
I tell that part. Yeah, my bad. I tell you that part. My bad. I'll leave by 2:30. My supervisor tripping. I said, I'm going home today. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I'm leaving. All right, so I left at 1, right? He crazy, man.
Right.
Okay. Forget you, Hector.
I left at 1.
Oh, good.
So I stayed at my parents' estate, right? So my father, I was married before, married 5 years. So I was in Fort Myers doing, working, going to school, the family, stuff like that. And my the individual I was married to at the time, peeped the verbiage.
Listen, I'm like, ooh, he said individual.
Maturity. I see you.
Sure, you never.
Co-parenting, you don't call me an individual before.
You never disrespect. You never disrespect. But the young lady I was married to at the time, she told me she had something going on. So I said, okay, boom, on the outside of the covenant. So we separated. So my stepmom, my dad got really sick really fast. Yeah. So she caught me crying one night. She was like, yo, your daddy on the floor in the shower. I'm caught under him. I need some help. Can you come? I got out of school, finished my little 2 weeks at the job, moved back down, so I'm working down here. So I met this young lady, stuff like that. So I went to her. I left work at 1 o'clock. I went to her dad's house.
1 o'clock.
What's with you at 1 o'clock?
So me and my stepmom got in the whip. I went to her dad's house, right? Now, I forgot what day it was. I'm finna circle back. Can you give me that look? I'm finna circle back. So we go over there. So I called him. I said, Mr. Paul, I said, can I come and talk to you for a little bit? He said, yeah, come over. So I go in there. Me and my stepmom went in there. So I'm thinking I'm finna be on the front porch. I go. The door already cracked open. So I go in the door. The door open. All right. So I go in there. Me, my stepmom, my fiance's mom, and her dad in the living room. So he came out the room. He never come out the room. My man came out the room that day. He had socks and slippers on, right? So,
he was ready.
Yeah, he was ready. So I'm talking to him. I said, I like your daughter a lot. She, can I have, he looked at me. He said, man. He gave me that look.
Yeah.
He sized me up. He said, man. On my birthday. I ain't know it's his birthday.
Yeah.
He said, on my birthday. He said, you came and asked me for my daughter's hand on my birthday. He said, me and her mama been praying for her to have someone to come here and ask us for her hand. And then her mama like, the right one. Women, mama's already going. I look up, my stepmama crying, she crying. He said, yeah, you can have my daughter. He told me, he said, look now, he said, if you ain't gonna treat her right, you let her stay right here. Yeah. He said, I don't need you doing what everybody else did.
Right.
He said, because if you don't want her, she can be right here with me.
Look, that sounds just like my dad. That sounds just like my dad, yeah.
He said, you hear me? I said, I got you. Yeah. I said, she ain't coming back.
That's how you do it.
So when you talking about being a father, and the thing about it is too, because I had my son early. I had my son when I was my son he's born February the 4th. My birthday April the 18th. So I turned 21 2 months after he was born. Yeah. AKA didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Right. That's sign language right there. Right. So now he's me and his mom had to learn how to co-parent. Yeah. We had to learn and co-work. That's how I got that from. If you can't co-parent, co-work. Yeah. Just listen to what she got going on, and you have to be black or white with that thing. Like, okay, are you there all the time or not? It don't matter why you're not there.
Right.
It don't matter who broke up with who. Are you there 90% of the time or not?
Right.
And that's how you, and then so once you start meeting that, okay, do you need extra from child support? You need extra? Okay, boom. Boom. Now, how that works is on the flip side, she starts to gain a certain type of respect.
Yeah.
And you start to see where she's coming from. You start to put your foot in her slides. You know what I'm saying? So you start to, everything start to level out.
Right.
So one major thing I learned was a person doesn't even have to be someone's blood relational dad to father somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that. If you're a man, your job is to father, period. Because when you get married, when that man passes his daughter off to you, now you're a type of her father. You're not her father, but it's your job to father her now. You know what I mean? So now when we talk about hugging, when Faith's son see me, Mr. Cedric, you know what I'm saying? They hug me, you know what I'm saying? When I was young, I never remember my mom hugging me.
Yeah.
Because she had her own thing going on. My mom, she had to get up out of the street, so she had her own thing going on. I always remember my father hugging me. I remember my father kissing me on my forehead. I remember my father kissing me. I never can remember my mom kissing me on my lips as a child. My father used to do it.
Yeah.
So now I kiss my son. My son, he's 6'3", 6'4".
Ain't a monster.
He's 6'4", right?
I don't think he's
15.
Yeah.
So we look like Shaq and Kevin Hart. I'm hugging him right here. You know what I'm saying? But now, when I see my, respectfully, when I see my fiance's sons, I hug them, I embrace them. I'm not their dad, but I'm father them at the same time.
Yeah.
So men have to take into consideration, you have to do work on yourself in order to do your job.
Yeah.
Because your job does not just apply with who you're related to. Your job applies to wherever you come across, wherever God needs to send you at.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a word.
Yeah, man. We gonna do this off camera because I got some stuff in my notes right here.
Okay.
We gonna circle back and we'll let y'all know if they agree to it. But man, we have truly enjoyed this, and we thank you guys for staying with us.
Yes.
And but most definitely, before we get up out of here, Miss Jazzy, let them know where the people can find you.
Listen, you can find me on Facebook, IG, Instagram, on all your podcast platforms. It's Jazzy Conversations with Jazz. That's Jazzie. Conversations with Jazz. So make sure you like, you follow, you subscribe. You leave me some comments because I look at those comments as being reviews. So come back and look at all of the episodes. We're on 138 right now. So you got some to choose from. All right. Go search up Mike's episode. All right.
Yeah, she got some heavy hitters on there too.
Like we just a myriad of people. So you really would enjoy, like if you enjoy like a good comeback story, that gives you inspiration, that could possibly motivate you, just definitely tune in.
Amen to that. And once again, y'all know how we like to get down. But before we get up out of here, just remember, don't turn the dial off just yet. So we got Alxndr's new Christmas single, Born to Save, that's going to be played right after this episode. So y'all just stay tuned. So we're proud of our guy, man. He got some heads where he moving on.
Yes.
And we look for some great more things coming from him down the pipe, as well as Boy Wonder. So he got some music coming out. So.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time coming, bro.
Trying to tell you,
man.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while.
It's
Been a long time coming too. At the same time, the traction you're getting right now.
For
so,
sure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's real big. So
Listen,
y'all,
congratulations.
appreciate it, man. Hey, Blueprint Nation, once again, y'all show Jazzy some love.
What episode?
Episode 100.
What episode?
100. Who that?
Hey.
That's
KB.
Oh, that's KB. Okay, I was thinking it was Minnick or something.
Walk in the mall. Let me stop.
All right, fella. And on that note, once again, check out Born to Save. And y'all know how we like to get up out of here. Shoot for the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. And if you think different and be different, you have the opportunity to live different. And once again, we'll see you on the other side of success. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Lately I've been trying to find a reason why to express to you exactly how I feel inside. There's no other name above you, set the standards high. Therefore I don't need the rush, so let me take my time. I'm not alone, have your way in this place. I can feel your presence falling like the snow in winter time. From NYC to ATL to MIA, we can have all the space you need, so let me step aside. Take a look inside. All you see is transformation with the naked eye. Ever to the hands, I feel like cutting ties. I'm on a different vibe, don't wanna socialize. I'm full of hope, I live in truth, my God is great. I'm sowing seed, my apple tree is on the way, yeah. I know my role, I read the script, I'm not afraid. You give your son, he came to die, born to save. I'm full of hope, I live in truth, my God is great. I'm sowing seed, my apple tree is on the way, yeah. I know my role, I read the script, I'm not afraid. You give your son, he came to die, born to save. I'm next in line for a miracle. Really big plans on the way. And I believe anything is possible. I trust in your road, I'm not ashamed. I'm next in line for a miracle. Really big plans on the way. And I believe anything is possible. I say it's possible, it's possible. I'm full of hope, I live in truth, my God is great. I'm sowing seed, my apple tree is on the way, yeah. I know my role, I read the script, I'm not afraid. You give your son, he came to die, born to save. I'm full of hope, I live in truth, my God is great. I'm sowing seed, my apple tree is on the way, yeah. I know my role, I read the script, I'm not afraid. You give your son, he came to die, born to save. I can feel your presence.